Good afternoon, everybody. It's RT here at Hxro Labs, episode 64 with Nick Cote. How you doing today, Nick?
Good, man. It's Friday. Market's sideways.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to pivot into the weekend. We're going to bleed out the slowest, most painful little downtrend on the 4-hour for Bitcoin as we head into that sort of reload zone we've been watching. The higher time frames, well, mid time frames. The higher time frame reload zone is probably not something we want to go visit down below 10K. Dave Millett moving up in life, no longer sitting in the parking lot today. He's in a van down by the river. That actually sounds pretty gorgeous. I'm a little bit jealous as I sit here in this somewhat stuffy room with the traffic outside. I can't open the windows, so I am. We got Sohail. What's going on, brother? Good to see you. And Timea, welcome back. So we got some people piling into the lobby, and we've got TradingView is live. So good to see you guys over on TradingView. Possibly, got to pull up Periscope. Don't want to forget about Periscope. Periscope chat. My God, what a week. I've been doing a lot of late nights this week. It's a silly thing called Dollar Protocol that has a rebase at 12 a.m. local time. And basically just keeping me awake. I usually go to bed like a good boy at about 10:30. Try to. And last few nights I've just been staying up burning the midnight oil. So I'm going to maybe start napping at like 6 o'clock. 6 to 8 nap, rebase window. Because if you're around and you flip some farming stuff around, you can actually capture some more of that and then just go back. So it's been paying off. I mean, it pays well. But for now, I'm wrecked. I'm so tired. But we're going to bring the energy today because there is a lot going on in Bitcoin right now with another $100 million being purchased by those Massachusetts insurance, whoever.
Sailor Moon, another 650 million.
Sailor Moon sweeping in with another buy. These sound like huge buys, and I mean, they are relatively huge, but they're not going to prop up the market on their own, other than maybe just being some good news on the longer term. But these guys probably wouldn't sweat at all, if price rolled over into the 16, 15, 14, 13, 12 area for 3 weeks. So, and that's something we covered on Wednesday, talking a little bit about what that might look like if we were to go down into those ranges. Would it be a long drawn out consolidation for 6 to 8 months? Would it just be like a 3-week sort of FU move to clean up the chart and then continue on our way? That's my guess if we do it. So, things like that we're keeping an eye on. But what I want to know today, because I haven't looked, is what you see on the S&P, because I am hearing reports of a key reversal candle that I saw on Twitter. Maybe I'll find it.
There's potential for it. I guess it's a good time to pull up the chart.
Yeah, why don't we flip over to your charts? I'm going to see if I can find that tweet. It's from Brian Beamish. He's, do you see what I see? And it was a key reversal, which is usually a pretty nasty candle to see on anything.
Which time frame was he looking at? Which time frame is he looking at?
That's what I need to find out. I'm going to take a look right now. I think it was like a 4-hour.
Yeah, like high time frames, kind of like indecisive. Definitely
daily. It was a daily on the CME mini futures, NASDAQ 100 mini futures. So I can actually just pull it up. There's no point in twisting your arm to go search for it here. I'll take a look. So there it is. Let's go over to that, John.
If it's closing below 3,600, I could see it.
Yeah, I know our producer is busy putting the word out on our stream as we get going here. But John, if you hear me, yeah, there we go. So we got the key reversal. So that's, when you get a candle that engulfs 3 bars before it, call that a key reversal. And it's a pretty strong signal. So, I mean, it's not the end of the world necessarily, but it's usually something that should put traders on high alert. And that's what we've got on the NASDAQ 100 E-mini futures yesterday, I believe. 2 days ago now. Anyways, I was just wondering what you see there, because when I saw that, I was like, oh, okay, end of year, we're going to roll over a bit.
Yeah, I think it's an early call if you're good at reading candlesticks in terms of like market structure. As long as it's above, intraday 36 and market structure wise 35, it's just kind of nothing really interesting going on. But if it does break market structure below 35, then yeah, I think we'll look back on this and be like, wow, Brian's a god. He called it within 2 days.
Yeah, I mean, that's, there's so many different ways to look at the chart. I think candlestick patterns that come in those 1, 2, or 3 and 5 bar fractals are a great leading indicator, but ultimately it's that higher time frame sort of bearish market structure you want to see, or bullish market structure, the full M or W. So this is maybe a leading indicator for that. We'll see.
Yeah, the US dollar is kind of just dripping its way into this big monthly support down here as well. I think we'll probably see a reversal on that later, early next year. But there's still room for it to fall. So, the market structure is still pretty bearish on that one. But yeah, when this stuff does reverse on USD, I'll expect some retraces on risk assets for sure.
Yeah, and I think Bitcoin is probably one of the leading risk assets right now. It seems to have moved into place there throughout the year, which is really interesting to see, given that, this time last year it was hardly on the radar of most macro analyses. So,
oh, look at this interesting thing. I've been saying like, well, was it the generational bottom on gold? It's actually closing below that throwback there at 1860 right now. So I did not notice that till now. Must have got sold down the other day. Yeah, it did. Yeah, so like, I guess maybe the bottom's not quite confirmed yet on gold, but once it does start closing above that 1860, 1870, I'll be pretty confident with it.
Yeah, I'm not really a gold trader personally. I think it's an interesting thing, and I watch it because you trade it. But is it available on FTX now? Is that part of their stock offering? Did they add that?
I don't think so, but I'm sure commodities are pretty going to be added quickly eventually.
I think there's PAX-G, which I believe is
Is that a proxy?
Yeah, I think it's a gold thing, and it looks like they have an XAUT perp, Tether Gold. So you can probably get some kind of exposure. Yeah, the Tether Gold perp future looks like it's basically
that would sound it. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can trade gold on FTX. Maybe I should start looking at it because your analysis this year on it has been pretty incredible. Well, when I see something like that and it's at 1850 and then it moves up to 1950 and everyone's like, "Whoa, massive move in gold!" I'm like, $100.
I know.
But I forget that you can leverage it and do all that stuff. So every pip is like, so the moves become a little more interesting. So it is something I'll take a look at now that I have moved some funds over to FTX. What do you see on Bitcoin? I know we were on the line late last night and you were pretty bloody bearish. In fact, I had to end the call because I was about to sell all my bags and run home. I said, sorry, I got to go. I'm going to fall asleep before you make me sell everything.
Yeah, I think if this 17.6 still your intraday support level at this range, if that goes, then I'd be expecting a retest of the 16.5, 17.1. But for now, again, just kind of stuck in this fucking boring range, waiting for this range expansion trade that we have had set up here for almost a week now. It's going to be an easy play. I just have to have some patience and wait for it to come through. We have noticed like Bitcoin, this is pretty bullish news with all these large buys coming, potentially coming in here. So is the market going to front run that? Let's see, right? So right now it's kind of like in this little falling wedge I'm watching here on the 6 hour. So Stokes also down there. Wherever this goes, I'll probably just follow it. But yeah, I thought we were going to get a fill down here at like 17.
I know I had bids there. I was a little salty to see that the Asian session couldn't push us in there for a wiki.
That's what I was hoping for last night, and it didn't come. Has Michael Saylor saved Bitcoin again?
I know. Well, let's flip over to my chart. I've got a similar view on right now on the 4 hour. And yeah, there you go. So I put this together this morning and look, this is what I've been watching for. Range EQ interaction right now. I mean, we're just hovering around this. This range, of course, was established with the low that we put on November 26th and then the high that followed shortly after. And to me, that just created a range for us. Again, after nice strong uptrends, you get a big smackdown and a rebound. You can expect, this sort of it's really kind of trippy because it's basically just physics. It's I don't know, like a spring, those things you used to play with when you were on timeout as a kid on the back of your door that just like boing, 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 boing. It's just physics, and that's sort of how I see trending into consolidating, ranging market states and transition. So what I've been watching as we pull down into this level, of course, we got the beautiful retest of our narrow range and then dropped. And so what I'm watching on this drop is bullish divergence. I want to see, if we make a lower low, which we did the momentum indicators make a lower low also? They did not. So that creates a potential bullish divergence on the MACD. It would not be confirmed until this flips back green. And in the case of the RSI, much like we want to look for market structure, I need to see a W and I need to see a break of this high. So still a potential on both the momentum indicators, which means it's a non-signal, but it's something I'm watching for. And, as we pop back up here, the other thing I'm watching for is volume. And it's weak as fuck. Like that 4-hour candle had no buyback volume. And typically when you're at the end of a down move or at the end of an up move, you get really strong volume coming in the other way. And we didn't actually get that buyback volume here as well. So, yeah, like, here on the hourly, you can see a pretty decent buy volume bar kind of came in, which could tell you that this was the bottom of that move, turned out to be. On the 1 hour here, we're not really getting any of that, right? Selling, the selling slowed down here a little bit, but still no real sign of the buyers. So kind of mixed signals. Generally speaking, volume is king. So I'm not rushing in to say, well, there's a bullish divergence, so we must go up. It just means that the momentum is slowing, which is actually what I would expect as we come into this reload zone here, which is the first stop for me. As far as, any kind of move down goes, I think, the scenario coming into here, as we talked about on my market update a few weeks ago, very bearish looking for people that thought we were going to just break through 20K. They're like, oh, we just keep going down. And maybe, they're starting to get that feeling in their stomach because they look at the daily and they see the M top and they see some inside bar stuff. And then, we take another dip and they're like, oh man, this is getting really sweaty. If we take one more, I'm getting the fuck out of here. And then, and then we take one more dip. And this is where I expect to see bullish divergence if we do get there. And that's actually short term where I might expect to see a reversal. And of course, nothing's for sure. There's a, I might be pigeonholing myself by viewing this time frame. It's where I have to work right now. It's where I see the market staying for, until it doesn't. And like I said, death below, then I have to zoom out. Because if you do zoom out, which we should do right now, you can see that it's looking pretty drippy up here, right? We get the high, we get the higher high, and then it's just lower high, lower high, lower high. And so, I don't like the look of this top, this formation. However, I didn't like the look of this one either. And I think it's really important, this is a little bit different because we were, really close to the lows coming off a massive sell-off, which gave like a YCOF check to a year-old level. So, I mean, certainly can't say that the market is nearly, like the market right now is much more overextended, overbought, perhaps high in its range than it was here. So I'm not going to compare it like apples to apples, but, just keep in mind at this point, and I distinctly remember it thinking, oh my God, we're Ming out. This is terrible. We had bearish market structure here, confirmed. So I know on this move back up, a lot of people were thinking short. And as you can see, they got squeezed to death and then shaken back down and then squeezed and then just blown up. And it just kept going. So if anything, the bull case to me is that we're going to see some of this and just chill there, maybe through January even. And, every day we don't drop below. I guess I should end this replay so we can go back. In my mind, every day we don't drop below this level is more strength. It doesn't mean like every day we don't do it, there's more likely it's going to go up. But like if we were going to really do a nasty big pullback, it's got to come pretty soon. I'd say within a week or two. Otherwise, I'm just starting to think, all this. Whoa.
It's going back up.
Everyone's going to just lose their lunch, right? Because they're selling down here trying to buy cheaper. They're FOMOing back in here because they think they're going to get nuked to 24K. and they're selling down here because they just got shaken back and forth, and they're just so sick of the market. And then they're back here, and then it's going to go, most likely it would just get completely quiet, and everyone's just like, oh my God. And then, so that's that, if I had to be a betting man, that's what I'm watching right now, is that kind of thing up here. And the only time that I can really say that that's no longer on the table is if we really do break this. And, that's a confirmed double top, and we'll see how long it takes to play that out. Bottom line is, as you can hear in my voice, my roundabout analysis here, it's really tough to call. And so, as a plan, how are you positioning yourself? Because for me right now, like, I'm just, I've got some Bitcoin, I've got some Tether, I've got some altcoins. Like I've spread myself out. I would say, okay, I'm pretty Tether heavy. It's my largest coin right now, other than friggin' shares, because that thing just like 60x'd and it kind of took over my portfolio. But I'm on the heavier sort of wait and see. I think there's going to be some key areas where I can start to make bigger decisions, and until then, we're kind of just in no man's land. How about you? How have you positioned yourself on a portfolio basis? I think that might be something that a lot of people want to consider today.
Yeah, I'm basically just going to stay on the sidelines with Bitcoin and Ethereum until it breaks, some of these horizontal levels and gives some actual clear direction. Otherwise, I think just short-term trading is the way to go within the range, playing the levels, and that's basically it. Like, the volumes are just dropping right across the board. So the volatility is, you got to go elsewhere. Normally, you'd be looking to the altcoins, DeFi. There's been a lot of movement in those, so kind of just focused on those. There's better opportunities elsewhere than Bitcoin, ranging in the $300, $350 range.
Yeah, sounds good. We've got Cody Charles over here on TradingView. He said, hard lag. Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes we do run into some buffering issues on TradingView, as this is their beta streaming platform. Yeah, it will get better. We've talked to them. They're making some changes and upgrades, and again, beta tends to come with some of that. You can always fly over here to YouTube if it's unbearable, and always appreciate a like and a sub over here. I don't want to pull anyone from TradingView. We're here to support them. But if it's unwatchable and it's bugging you, just fly over here to YouTube and join us. From what I hear, it's pretty smooth. And yeah, our producer says if you refresh the stream, it should work pretty well. So you can try that too, yeah. Cody. Now, Cody says, what's your fundamental thoughts on why Bitcoin should do this? Not sure about this. It's hard to say exactly what I was talking about at that time. But yeah, the fundamental, okay. I'm assuming you're saying like about the consolidation up here. I mean, fundamentally, it's very strong. And objectively, this is not a blow-off top. It could very well be a midterm top where, we just have to do one of these and just kind of come back down and tag some levels, in which case this is the most obvious level to come and tag. This was the first one that we tagged. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of cleaning up that could be done on this chart while staying bullish. Because after you get a $9,000 move, there's a lot of room to pull back while staying in an uptrend. So we just have to keep that in mind. And yeah, fundamentally, I'm very, very bullish on Bitcoin. I think the cat's out of the bag. So I'm not as worried about getting out if this happens, as much as how to position myself so that I have the option to get back in, or not get back in, but buy some of these levels fairly aggressively, I might add. So in other news, what I'm really watching, as often as is usually the case, are altcoins. Because these God, I just got a DM and it's distracting me. Somebody's like, unban me. I'm like, I can't, I'm live. Okay, so looking at the BTC Dominance, we've got this rising wedge. And this is really what I'm keeping a close eye on. Every morning I wake up, I drink a sip of coffee, and I check the rising wedge. Because if it breaks down, that's going to be a really nice early indicator that we are probably going to see some of this. Bitcoin boring, staying relatively bullish, and then altcoins get to party. And, so something like this, and then, and we're moving. And so just like up here in May and June, we had a slight breakdown, a retest. And it was actually a pretty aggressive follow-up, but then we just kind of hung out here. Alt season, where things started going crazy, that was on the next leg down. And it just pretty much trended straight down for like 2 months. So this could be the beginning of one of those. And of course, there's always that outside chance, I'd say, in like the 30 percentile that we're just like working our way back up, and that sucks. So the key indicator here to keep an eye on, as always, is BTC. And right now it is parked in what I expect, would be the first stop, the pump chaser zone. So we had a pump, pretty strong bounce off those key support lows after sweeping them, kind of come into it. Same thing as Bitcoin, right? Huge move, big smackdown, shocks it into consolidation. So the next move out of here is going to be critical for that in the midterm, short term. And of course, if we miss the pump chaser zone, this is sort of where I expect to see us go, almost like cleaning up this chart, filling in the VPVR, getting that range back in. And that would actually make sense seasonally, because I never really expect altcoins to just go crazy in December and January and February. Typically, altcoins like to just be boring as hell and kind of accumulate during the start of a year. And then you get these like spring rallies. It seems uncanny. Like you just get May, June. Last year went right through the summer. So don't hold your breath on altcoins. Patiently position yourself for when that happens. Keep an eye. What I'm doing, I should say, not what you should do, but what I'm doing is patiently positioning myself, keeping an eye on dominance, keeping an eye on ETH BTC, and fully accepting the reality that I may be waiting until spring to see what I really want, which is a big FU rally in altcoins.
Yeah, I agree that ETH BTC is going to be the proxy for that side of things. But that's why I've been looking at altcoins. The volatility is much higher. They're actually in trends. Uni's had some great plays here. It's coming to a really nice support level down here at 2.8.
Yeah, let's flip over to the Uni chart there, John. We'll see what Nick's got going on.
Yeah, it's just, I was plotting this trade out yesterday, waiting to try and buy this level. It hasn't come down there quite yet. But this is a good one. Pull it to the left. It goes back to October. Easy invalidation. If we lose this level and close below it, then you're going to be looking for down there at 2.4, 2.45. But the other really good chart set up right now is YFI. It's obviously come off those highs. If we pull this back to the high time frames, last week we were kind of noting the bear div that was forming on these highs as well. Sure enough, we got to pull back into this major 3-day level, 21.6 kind of being the low threshold of that, and the daily finally just kind of tapping that. So if we see a few wicks into this here, that'll confirm the daily support level. And if you're looking for longs down here, then your stops are probably going to be just below here or something. Not too tight. Just because of liquidity, if somebody sells a lot, they could run their stops quite easily. But so far, nice little positive price reaction. This is the 4-hour, few higher lows here. Solid hammer candle forming right now. I'm not going to say trend continuation for the bull until we're back above this little throwback over here at 26.3. At which point, I think it'd be pretty clear to ride into the sunshine, back to new highs, at least to retest this 32,000 level. So a good 23% trade off of that. You then be using this little form of resistance, hopefully flips the support as your stop loss. But if we do lose this level, well, the next level, unfortunately, not really, it's going to be a long drop back to 18.7. So, this is your first opportunity to get long. First target going to be around that 26,000. If it breaks that, gets above it, turns to support, target 32. But like RT said, could see some volatility kind of dampen a little bit going into the holidays here. It's already December 11th.
Yeah, I generally expect boredom through that. Now, the exception, of course, was 2017, which, fractally speaking, I don't think we're in just yet, but that was insanity through there, and it was retail driven. So on holidays, it actually got more exciting because the 9 to 5, friends and family were actually able to trade. So they would go home and look at their crypto and start buying it up in obviously in massive amounts. Whereas now, perhaps that's not the driver of the market just yet. So holidays, things tend to tone down. So we'll be keeping an eye on it. we're going to run streams pretty much throughout. I imagine I'll be live at least a few times over the holidays, if not entirely. So, yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of wait and see. I think I'm being very strategic with how I deploy my capital, patient. I've definitely moved in and out of altcoins that I generally just wanted to hold because I look more objectively at it and I say, you know what? I don't need to hold this through whatever may come. Like, I think I can, reposition myself a little better once I have a clearer picture. So call it what you will, probably chop myself a couple times. But that is sort of the nature of consolidating markets. It is very tricky to make hard, fast decisions, especially this time of year. So after the last week of my trade, I have actually taken more of a let's just wait and see a little bit. If I get, let's say for example here on ETH, let's take a look over here at ETH. I'm very comfortable waiting on Ethereum because right now we've just got lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. And the only chance we have, first chance we have now to reverse that is to break above this level. I'm okay with waiting for that. I think, I think there's a decent chance we actually do it right here through the next week or two. Maybe, even if we are going to go down more, like there's a decent chance we just come up and have a big FU, get everyone back in bullish who just bled out here and sold their positions. And then we go down. Or, we just reverse here and trend back up and continue on our way. Very bullish on Ethereum. So, but I need to wait for confirmation either way. And for me, that starts with breaking this high at about 555. So if we get above there, I'll probably buy a pullback on an anticipation of a squeeze up. If we don't, well, I'm really glad I didn't just start buying around here because we're probably just lower highs and going to keep going.
Yeah, I think the big level on ETH is for now that 530 level. It's a good daily level, good 4-hour level.
Oh, on the support side, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's this perfect. Like, here's the thing too. Like, that's our perfect Wyckoff check. This sort of retest, like to a pip of this level here, and well, not to a pip, but within a few bucks. And that's actually, I noticed very clearly what we had here, and what we had here. So checking these levels, ETH has been really nice and respectful to those levels. Bitcoin, on the other hand, during this move up, kept front running them by like, $30. So whatever you want to make of that. But for now, there was just a really nice throwback, pull down into the RLZ, break out, retest, potentially go. So I'm not going to call the full bear here, even if we are going down. Given what I said about consolidation, I do expect a little bit ranging higher. But it is what it is. I think it's a tricky time to just be like making predictions. I think more than ever right now, it's important to have setups that you're hunting, specific things you look for just based on criteria, and then trade them. And if anything, maybe take some risk off. Like, I usually trade 0.5% to 1%. Maybe today I'm trading 0.25% because I don't have a fucking clue what's going on.
Yeah, I think SUSHISwap is coming into a really interesting level here as well.
Let's take a look at Sushi. Yeah, it just confirmed sort of a pretty nasty little structure, did it not?
Yeah, well, it hit our initial target up there, but now, this is forming a little daily support level. But if you like the Wyckoff throwback level here is pretty large. This thing could drop all the way down to 1.67 and technically still be bullish. It just had such a fucking strong run, 60 cents to almost like 250. So yeah, it could come back down. Let's see how much that is. This thing could fall another like 15%, and the market structure is still intact for the bulls. But short term, I wouldn't short it here. If you're not already short, I'd be looking for, kind of a retest back up to like this 2.06 level, 2.02 between there. But right here, you're literally shorting, support. Never a great idea. The risk, even if it drops, the risk was still pretty substantial. It was going to go back to retest that initial breakdown level. But yeah, the market structure doesn't look great. You can clearly see that, head and shoulder type formation there as well. And that's kind of played out, and it completed, normally you're not going to get a huge, death move off head and shoulders on the hourly, but it'll be good enough to drive you to the nearest liquidity block. And sure enough, that's where we are right now. But it's really interesting watching the majors though, because you would expect like all this super bullish news and all these big buys, the market would be reacting a lot more bullishly. We got what, $100 bounce. Now it's kind of getting faded on Bitcoin off that Michael Saylor news. Like, it's just strange. Like it's kind of like the inverse of what we saw when we were back here at 10K. It was all this bearish news coming out, right? And nothing was dropping this thing. And then sure enough, fucking 2x rally. Now it's getting all the opposite, all this relatively good buy side demand news, and no real effect on the market. So it's interesting, but I guess there is the inflows to exchanges have definitely slowed down. Issuance of stable coins is again, I think we're just going to see kind of like a slower consolidation for the next week or two.
Yeah, markets are really good at driving you crazy, and it seems like when you hit your breaking point, they give you the signal, they reverse or whatever. So if anything, that's part of what I was saying about staying balanced and just kind of watching and waiting. And I'm not all in Bitcoin. I'm not all out of Bitcoin. I'm just kind of like, fuck it. I'm bullish next year. So I want to have some no matter what. And I also want to be able to buy if we get a big nasty dip, so that you're not sitting there going, oh shit, this sucks. It's like, actually, this is an opportunity. So just positioning myself for both is the best I can think to do right now, and trading a few altcoins here, swings, short term swings.
Yeah, alts are going to be the play. And maybe if you're an options trader, there's going to be some like short-term opportunities there.
Yeah, you've been smacking the Tix&Wix. Let's talk about Tix&Wix. I've been discovering, we have a Telegram group now for those who are non-US and are actually eligible to play on there. Now, just keep in mind, Hxro Games Inc. and Hxro Labs are two different entities. So, we're Canadians. We're allowed to play on there. We like to play on there. We've been messing around with the Tix&Wix contracts. And one of these epiphanies I had recently was actually playing the no side. So instead of being like, ooh, 7x, if Bitcoin does this, especially now that I expect low volatility, it's like I've been fading 20K for a few days. I mean, not the last two, but Sunday and Monday and Tuesday, I faded 20K. I basically said, by tomorrow, will Bitcoin touch 20K? I said no. The first night I got paid 47 cents on the dollar. It was like a 47% gain on a trade. And all Bitcoin has to not do is wick up to 20K in like 12 to 18 hours. I'm like, oh, that's an easy trade. Yeah. Next day it paid 22 cents. And then the next day it paid 10 cents. But just kind of compounding my positions like that, because I just don't think we're going to smack 20K this week. And it's been paying off. How are you playing them? I know you smacked a nice one yesterday.
Yeah, I basically just look, if I think the market's going to go, I'm looking for reversals. That's essentially how I play that, because then the odds of that reversal are going to be the best that you're going to get. So
on a big down day, you're buying the up the next day, baby.
Yeah, but also sometimes there's just inefficiencies in pricing that we've seen as well, right? Like a short dated option, like if the market clearly looks bearish from like our perspective from TA candlesticks, that's they're not pricing the contracts based on how candlesticks work on the 30-minute or hourly like that.
Maybe let's flip to my screen. We should probably just
take a look at it.
Take a look at it. You guys get to expose all my positions. Oh no. But this is for what it is, old ETHWIX that I got into. They're well into the money, and I'm just kind of waiting. Although I did take some off over the last 2 weeks. I've been taking off a little bit of my big ETHWIX 1000 because is it going to hit 1000 by March 26? Honestly, probably not. I think it'll take a little bit longer than that. So this probably won't cash in the money. So my point of it is to like pull out value from it
as it goes up.
As it goes up in value. And I could cash the whole thing out right now and make a sick 10x. But, if we rally at all before March into the 800 area, 600 area, I can probably get a little more. So I'm just kind of averaging out. But let's take a look here for those who don't have a clue what we're talking about. We get a visual now.
Yeah, like a great example of the trade from yesterday was that Bitcoin was coming into that throwback level at 18.4, 18.6 that we were looking at, right? But the downside, it was like a 7.7x return if price would close below 17.5 by the end of the day. I think there was like 7 hours on it. So I was pretty confident that we were going to see a pretty high, a strong, quick move down. So that's a really that's a really nice price play, right? They're not thinking, like, they're not pricing in a sharp move down. Yet our experience in the markets says, hey, if this gets rejected here, it's going to be generally a sharp move down. Like, it's very similar to how we say in expansionary moves from ranges. Those moves are very fast, high momentum. So if you're playing it, those are the type of plays you want to play with options, because then you're going to be removing the risk of getting fucking burned with the time decay, which has happened to me a few times trying to learn that stuff. But
Yeah, we discovered time decay the hard way. It's like, wait a sec, every 5 minutes this thing goes down 2%.
But we got it down now, and sure
Yeah.
enough, that thing paid out a 7x in like 4.5 hours, because it did really well. So that's kind of how I play that stuff. But see, right now, I wouldn't take anything on a Tix&Wix because it's sitting in the middle of a range. So I'm not going to get that high velocity move.
Yeah, no, and this is where my strategy comes in, where I'm thinking about the no contracts. So if I expect after some volatility yesterday that we're just going to have a consolidation day on the 12th here, there's 7 hours left on this. And if I bet the no on 18,500, basically saying, we might go up a bit, but we're not going to go this high in 7 hours, I get 25 cents in the dollar. So, I put $100 down and make 25 bucks. Like, it doesn't sound that exciting, but one of the strategies I've found, and one of the guys in the Telegram there, he said, look, I just put in $100 to play around. I'm up to 3K. I was like, whoa, shit, how'd you do that? And he's basically just been fading volatility and just compounding small gains over and over and over again, farming essentially, farming boredom, I call it. And so I'm trying it. I don't know. There might be a day when it does wick up and I'm like, oh shit. But hopefully by then the compounding smaller gains, you end up with a decent medium profit margin. But look, you can see that actually just repriced right in front of us down to 122. So every 5 minutes that goes by that we're not moving, this thing will get.
What's the expiry time on that contract right now?
7 hours and 20 minutes. So it's 11 p.m. tonight. So,
so you can see right there, like the 18.5 is priced kind of nice. Like if you think, and the market was showing that this falling wedge was about to break up, like it was starting to break up, I would take that. I would take that Tix yes contract. Yeah. Because generally when you have this thing has been in a falling wedge for 7 days, it's going to be building up a lot of momentum. Even if we don't hit that 18.5 level, if this thing starts to be around like 18.4, 18.3 with a few hours left, that thing's going to get repriced really well in your favor, and you're probably going to bang out like a 3-4x off of that.
Yeah, that's actually the last thing I should probably talk about strategy-wise that I learned, and I am very much not an options trader, guys, so keep this in mind. I'm learning this as we go, but thankfully, guy I work with closely, Rob Levy, is an OG options market maker. He really knows this shit, and he he's been teaching me as I go. And one of the things he talked about, when you hover over this, it says 4.423. I'm a trader. I want to know what the price is on that. And it expires at $1, it expires at 0. Right now, the market probability, if you hover over it, says 22.6. That's the price. It's 22.5 cents. And so he said, look, stop thinking about, trying to know exactly how it's going to close and start just thinking about the price of it. It's 22.6 right now. If price moves up today into the evening, this will reprice to like 45. And so that's 100% gain. That's a 2x, even though it may not expire in the money. So his thought to me was like, hey, start hunting for those 22s, 25s, 27s, and then start selling them when they're up at 40, 48, 50, buying 20s and selling 40s. So that's another strategy that I've been trying as well. And, like you say, if you're into sort of a wedge and you expect some volatile movement, these things can do it too. So, yeah, I mean, bringing this up today because honestly, I am trading on it and doing fairly well with it. And on days when I look at altcoins and I look at Bitcoin, I look at Ethereum, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's going to happen. I actually love coming over here and just picking some options. Either it's a boring day and I don't think anything's going to happen, and I just take some no's and make a nickel on a dollar or whatever, or we're consolidating super tight, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to buy this volatility. We'll see.
Another interesting chart I was just doing a little quick scan is Solana. This thing has absolutely got wrecked. last time I think we looked at this was last week, and the network had just gone down for 6 hours. That was a fucking obvious sell signal. But now it's come back in. This is a 4-hour chart. The bullish throwback did not hold, so let's just get rid of that. That's turned to resistance now. But this is, we always say price likes to react off the springs of moves. Well, here's a really great one, right? 4-hour chart, 1.4. That's going to be a really good support level on Solana. If we don't see a bounce there, then where's this thing going to bounce, right? I'd say it was 1.4 or this thing's headed to the fucking gulags. And we're going to see some negative price discovery, which I guess, to some degree it does make sense. There's still that large, I think we're only 3.5 weeks away from that super large distribution of supply. So there's definitely going to be a fantastic buying opportunity on Solana when that does happen. But for intraday scalp trading, I think we're going to see a little bit of a bounce off this 1.4 level. So I'm going to actually just set another alarm down here. Like that, perfect. And that's that. That's all I have to do.
Beauty. Yeah, no, I want to keep an eye on Solana. It's in sort of my top 10 for things I want to, park a little capital on whenever they decide to bottom or look like they're bottoming, and bang out like a sell half on a double. I would like a free position in Solana next year, along with things like DOT and AVAX and some of these larger ones that just launched. Let's take a look down my Bitcoin BTC pairs watch list. 2 weeks ago, we did this scan. Hey, DJ2000, good to see you, brother, in the chat. And guys, get your requests in. We do have a hard stop today at the top of the hour, which is about 15 minutes away. So if you have some things you want to look at, I do feel like the stream is a little less hey, we have all these amazing trade ideas. Unfortunately, sometimes it is a bit of a wait and see, and that's a little bit how I'm feeling today.
Yeah.
I want to know, like I said, I want to see, Bitcoin either, it has to make the high here. I need that to happen. If I zoom into the 1 hour, there's a few things I need to see, Ethereum getting up above 555. If I start to see those things happen, I'll get back to business as far as being a little more aggressive in the next kind of 1 to 2 week period. But let's take a look down this green list, because I do want to see how they've evolved since we did the scan. Of course, we had the bullish divergence coming in here. ADA took off. Just kind of chilling here. I mean, bottoms don't form overnight, and this looks like a first attempt at a low. Now we're going to make a high. Now we're going to have to come test that low. Makes sense. Ant, probably a way better chart out here on Bittrex, for example, but it's just a negative price discovery on that. Bancor, nice breakout. Bullish market structure. Hasn't quite gotten into my RLZ yet, where I would be hunting along potentially. Burger, what the hell this is? Only trading versus BNB, so buyer beware, but this is one of those Binance chain coins I heard about in the summer. Seller, not that exciting, right? And this is also why I'm not in a rush to buy breakouts. Always saying, draw up the fib after a breakout and then get nasty down here, because now I'm near the lows. If I want to buy it, I have less risk, larger position for the same risk, and maybe it does make a move up. But the fact that it's trading below the 88.6 is pretty soft. Don't love it. Data, fundamental one I love. I always tell you guys, I was about to buy it through these months in the spring, and then Tika went and announced it in his news article, and it just went insane. So I am on the prowl to get a position in this, and should be really close. I mean, why should I rush to get the perfect bottom? I think this is probably an area where I just want to grab a little and write it off and forget about it for a year and set some sell halves on a double. DOT is looking gross, man, versus Bitcoin. It came out, looked really exciting, and now it's just going to go find a bottom wherever that is versus Bitcoin. No real signs of buyers stepping in yet, and new lows over the last few days. So chilling on DOT, waiting on that one. Fetch looks pretty good given what we just looked at. Bullish market structure breakout down into the reload zone, trying to make new bullish market structure. It's cooking up a little thing here. So probably one of the better looking ones on this list. NBS, no idea what you are. Nears, kind of shit. Ocean, you can see this green list a few weeks ago looked a whole lot different. Ren. Ren is one that I always say I need to get a position in, but that's not even close to what I would consider a bottom. This was a really nice bottom. You can see nice, big, sweeping, bowl-shaped W's and then slowly breaking out. Like that was a sick time to be buying. Is this? Hell no. RSR, looking like it needs to come back and visit some stuff. Actually, okay, RSR is a good enough coin. I actually still have a free position in this one. I would be doing it a disservice to not check it on Huobi because that's where its history is. Let's take a look. Big fat consolidation. I mean, this is where I was buying it last spring and then, selling halves on doubles, getting my money back, keeping that RSR basically just in my wallet forever now. And I'm going to see if I can do another one of those. Wouldn't be shocked if this thing got real lazy into the start of next year and just kind of came in and gave us some more setups to buy. So I'll be keeping an eye on RSR. Not excited to necessarily buy it here, even though, some will look at this and say, look, it's a bullish throwback. Given everything else I'm seeing, I think I have some time there. S&T, actually, this is a pretty sweet little setup. All other things considered, W breakout, nice volume coming in. Get that reload zone. So for someone who's desperate to take trades, that's one I might slide into that one. Storage, STX. Yeah, no.
That doesn't look too bad.
Blockstack. Okay, see, so this is the thing. So Blockstack is actually looking pretty decent here as far as like it's down along the bottom of its pattern, right? Had a little breakout here. You could probably even say that's a weekly W. Let's take a look. Yeah, it is. I mean, there's a weekly. This was their mainnet launch through August. I do remember that because I was trying to trade it.
I guess people want to sell that news.
Yeah, as usual, right? It's like, oh, the mainnet's coming. It's going to be so cool. Oh, wait, it's always sell the news on mainnets. Launch of a mainnet does not suddenly drive an insane amount of demand to a token. So it's like a false thing to think that, oh, once the mainnet's launched, we'll never go down. It's usually a really nice trade signal, though. You can buy into it and sell at it. Hey, if this daily closes up here above this level, we've got ourselves some fresh bullish market structure to work with. So I'm going to keep an eye on this one, actually. This one looks good. That's why we do scans. So blocks, STX, I'm going to move it to my purple list. Syscoin, I mean, what a sweet bottom last year and then an explosion, what you'd expect. Now it's going to have to clean up for a little bit. Oh, and VidT. VidT is the last one I'll do on this particular scan. I think we should look at it on Qcoin, a little more history. Let's get right into the daily. Okay.
USDT.
I mean, look at that volume. This is weirdly robotic looking, but it is kind of back into its reload zone, you can tell. So one to be looking at this, like, look at this volume, though. It's like, womp, womp, and the bot's turned off. No more volume. So what the hell is going on in this chart? It does not look organic at all. Doesn't mean it can't pump, but it's friggin' weird. Look at the crazy Darth Maul candle, and then it's like that's the day that the bots died, and then this volume just disappeared. So I'd probably want to see some volume come in. Let's go and get rid of that big stupid volume and see if it changes things. Nope, still just trending down. So let's let this one chill for a bit. But every time I hear about it, someone's really pushing on it, so I do want to keep an eye. That's why it's on my list. Yeah, so we've got some requests here as we get to the top of the hour. What's the best place to re-short Ethereum? Oof, that's a Nick question.
Well, it depends what exchange you use, really, in your jurisdiction. I use FTX.
Oh, no, I think he means like on the chart, best place to re-short ETH, like.
Oh, yeah, sure, okay. If you're bearish on ETH, let's quickly go back and see here. I guess the best place to short Ethereum was yesterday, but today.
Second best time today? No, okay. I can't short it down here. I don't see any setups unless I'm scalping the 5 minute.
Yeah, there's nothing. This is not a great level. As we were just talking about, 530 to 535, big level. If that goes, yeah, there'll be a nice trade down to 480. But right now, the level to really be keeping an eye on in terms of like a throwback, and it's already proven itself. It's going to be right here, 562 to 567. If a price were to come back up into this level and I saw weakness again, I'd be short it. And this time I don't think the 530 would hold. But we do have this higher low here, right off this range. So you got your first get my little drawing tool out here. Get my brush. Where's my fucking brush? There you are.
Yeah, I feel like, for the first time in 2 weeks, I'm like, oh, maybe price is going to have a little short-term reversal here. And I can't be sure. There's not too much buyback volume, so I'm not very convinced of that. But it's like I just can't short this first candle up.
Yeah, like the only thing going for this in the range right now is that it's at the range lows, and there's a higher low off here at 535. But if that gets taken out, I'm pretty confident this entire level will get nuked, at least with a wick down. But that's kind of my thoughts. Below 568, bearish. Above 530, bullish. So it's just a contracting range right now. It's getting less and less sexy to trade. So that's what I'm saying. At this point, it's better to wait for a range expansion move, because then you're actually going to have some volatility and momentum to trade off of. Like if we're closing above, I'll quickly do this thing.
Yeah, give us that ink, baby.
Yeah, ink it up. Yeah, so if the price does, come back up here, it hits these highs here, like 572, and we see this, this turns to support, this former range here, these range lows. If that turns to support, I'd be pretty good to get long on this, targeting at least 490, 494. However,
594.
Sorry, yeah, wow.
You bear.
Prices since months ago. Yeah, if we do fail here, a pity bounce, and then we're just consolidating below this level, like, holy fuck, short your shorts, because this thing's about to get nuked. Probably back down to like 490, right? 490, 480, this entire range right here. Yeah, there'll probably be a nice little bounce there. Probably looks something like this. Whoa, back up to 530, and that'll be the trade. And depending what happens here, either fucking shoot yourself in the face down, or this was indeed the bottom again. And what could form here? An Adam and Eve, right? V shape, and then I'm gonna delete all this shit so it's a little bit more.
You're killing me, bro. I'm dying.
But like
tap here and shoot yourself in the face. Oh my god!
You would want to, if you were bullish, you would want to. So yeah, you got a V here, and potentially if we do come down, like it'll look like this, right? Nice little fuck you bottom, and then back up she goes. So that's called an Adam and Eve. You get the V, and then you get the U, right? That's indicative of a strong bottom, and this is a reversal pattern. And then potentially off this U, what happens? A cup and handle, right?
Bing.
So exactly. So you take 50% of the U, so that probably mid-range of this range, you'd probably see it. So if we, probably around here, to be honest, like 560 again. So if it came up, it would make a nice little handle here. And if it's supported here, like you would be longing your longs at that point, because this is, this would be going up to new highs.
700.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, I love that analysis. That's the first time maybe in a few days that I've looked at ETH and said, oh, like I have a visual now for what I can look at, because, it's easy after sort of what we've seen over the last couple of days to just get really droopy and like, oh, well, and it'll drain you and it'll make you just want to like short and do all these kind of depressing sell your bags that you feel like you should have sold at 600 kind of thing. But you've just gotta, I especially need to sometimes zoom out, and that view you just gave me, it's kind of like, okay, cool. Like, we get up here, like, I don't know, that really spoke to me, that analysis, and not to lose sight of just how bullish things are in general. Ethereum never even got halfway back to its all-time highs. Bitcoin just hit its all-time high. ETH BTC looks very bullish. Like, let me flip over to my high time frame trend. Let's not lose sight of this just because of a few weeks of bearishness or days of consolidation. I mean, this is, Johnny, if you want to flip to my screen real quick, this ETH BTC weekly uptrend is an uptrend. It's an uptrend until we lose the recent lows. And we're still not on my screen. So, oh, wait, are we? Yes, we are. Okay, my bad. We are. Okay, I was looking at the wrong thing. This is what I see for Ethereum, and until we lose this low, this is an uptrend. And if we lose, if we actually do lose that, then, I know Jack was on the stream last Monday. He said he sees a few levels that are actually pretty close, like 24. I'd have to redraw my little ascending broadening wedge, but until we lose that low, we're consolidating here, and I'm really bullish on Ethereum. I'm actually more bullish on it than Bitcoin.
Dude, there's
next year.
We've so basically what's happening with the ETH 2.0 contract, there's actually a queue to join it now. So it's kind of like the equivalent of like having to pay a premium. Well, sort of. Basically, the demand has outweighed. We don't need you anymore, but we'll take you. But now you have to wait in line. It's essentially like
screen here. I want to see what you're looking at.
Yeah, I'll pull up the. So this is CryptoQuant. Shout out to CryptoQuant. Love those guys. They just make data so easy to digest. So I'll just go to the total value staked here. Yeah, look at that. Fucking hell. This thing has just continued to moon. It's almost at 1.4 million Ethereum locked. But again, this was very predictable, right? Because people, they're unsure. Are we going to hit this thing? And then boom, confidence. And then now, I suspect this will just continue to trend up like this as people just get more and more confident that their contract isn't going to be getting nuked.
Yeah,
or something awful like that, which has happened.
It's been a lot of anticipation around the yields that you can get from that, and staking your ETH, and just being a part of the next big world computer. So I'm not surprised to see it continually rise, and eventually you would expect that to have some effect on price as certain supply is locked up, and we go down and hunt for demand, kind of at the levels like that Adam and Eve continuation pattern, if you will. It just speaks to me, man. It looks really good. I mean, I'm going to be watching for that closely here in the coming weeks.
Let's quickly throw a correlation on this, though, between...
Yeah, you do that. I'm going to pull up the Royal Fortune has asked for 3 different coins, and that'll probably cap us today as we get into the top of the hour. So you do that. I'll get these ready.
Yeah, we correlated pretty strongly going into the ETH 2.0 launch with this stuff, and then it kind of just broke. Where was that? Kind of around December 1st. The correlation kind of fell off. And that's the thing with correlations. They only last until they don't. But it's very important to recognize when those correlations are broke. Otherwise, you're receiving bad. You're possibly trading off incorrect information, something that's not true anymore. But this is just intrinsically bullish for Ethereum in a few ways. One, it shows confidence in the protocol, right? The smart contract, and 2, it's removing supply, available supply for up to a year, potentially 2 years, depending on how long it takes for this to roll out. Now, the liquidity isn't going to be the Ethereum is locked, but those rewards aren't going to be locked. Those are going to be made of exchanges have already said they're going to support it. So people aren't going to have their yield locked up, which is pretty significant in my view. I was actually really concerned about that and going forward, locking up your principal for that long, and then your fucking rewards are also locked. There's no pool to trade that into. It's back now. So yeah, the exchanges gave a nice quick solution there. I think Binance and Coinbase have already said that they will be supporting that. So good news for ETH 2.0 holders, and I'm sure that support from the exchanges has kind of been another reason of why we've seen these continual inflows. But yeah, super interesting stuff happening there at the network level. It's good stuff to see.
Strong.
Yeah.
And that's why, they say it's the cliche, right? Dips are for buying, but we are in an uptrend. And, Ethereum weekly, if you look at the USD Ethereum weekly, I haven't actually in a little while, but I know it's bullish. So fuck it, I'm going to do it right now just so I don't have my foot in my mouth later today. Let's take a very quick and dirty look at Ethereum on the weekly. So, I mean, yeah. Is it at the top of its range? Nope. Is it at all-time highs? Nope. Did it just spend 2 years kind of putting in this massive base? Yup. And did it just start kind of breaking out this year? Yep. So on the weekly view, a dip to 450 makes all kind of sense, and it would just be kind of an uptrend. We've got some rising buy volume. Don't know what the hell went on here. There was a little bit of buying and selling, looks like. Bullish on Ethereum. if you didn't already get that. Now look, let's just kick out. Sometimes you get these big consolidations. Let's see what the chaos says. I mean, chaos takes us to the highs. If you want to measure, the expansive power of this consolidation, then, that's pretty sick. So I do see us going there. And so the question is, how much risk do I want to take trying to maneuver myself in here with my big, like with my whole stack, so to speak. I'll say my big stack, but my whole stack of Ethereum. Do I want to like sell the whole thing right here just so I can maybe get this? Or do I want to like maybe just sit on my hands a little more and maybe do some farming or something and get some yield out of it while I wait? Because I really just do see this coming next year. And it's not even, I'd say like 85% sure that in the next year, or bearishly 2 years, whatever that ends up looking like, what's the 2-year mark is like, well, it's the end of next year. So this is 1 year away over here. So where do I see us going there? I mean, sideways is the most bearish scenario I can think of. We'll see. But anyways, I've got a few charts here for Royal Fortune. Unfortunately, and full disclosure, I don't know these projects, and I do now, as I start to learn a little more about DeFi, grossly, I understand how grossly grossly, maybe not the right word. Basically, I don't know enough about DeFi to give proper analysis on projects I don't understand. There's things like total locked value that will affect price action. You might see something that's trending up and it looks toppy based purely on price action and TA, but then you look at the total locked assets and they're growing exponentially and there's profit being generated and dividends being paid, and suddenly it's not just like this weird utility coin that you can expect to follow TA a little more effectively. So I'm going to say that you can't really chart this. I can make this wedge. Oh, look, we broke out, but it's consolidating for now. So not a whole lot to say about TBK. I know Messiah is a lot more like, I'll look at the smart contracts and he'll look a little more technically. So definitely hit him up when he goes live next time for Hero Labs on our Twitter at Real Hero Labs on Twitter. But yeah, it's really tough for me to take a quick snap at these. I'll tell you this though, profit is trending up. Period. It just is. It's starting to look really good. We got a really nice Wyckoff check of this breakout level, and it started to move up, the volume coming back in on the buy side. So if I'm holding this coin, I'm feeling pretty decent about it. I think, I think my like wait and see kind of worst case is where you just have this sort of triangle thing forming here and you're just going to get a little bored for a bit. But as far as just like, again, whatever's going on with this project, then, it's in an uptrend, and that was a really strong breakout. And it's, historically speaking, is it at the bottom of its historical price area or is it at the top? I don't know. I'd say it's kind of on the lower risk side of the chart. I wouldn't rush to buy it here. You guys know me. If I'm chasing pumps, I'm doing it the right way. Getting out my little fib, which on ChartX doesn't save properly. So, it's like from this high, we're already at the pump chaser zone right down into this 385 area. There's a reload zone down here. So can a more patient buyer get in right here on a check of this breakout level? Probably. I'd say there's a good chance of that. RFI has been doing really well. And I'm going to put out some caution here. Again, not knowing exactly what this project does. Maybe they're internally super bullish and something's coming up. But I will tell you this, really nice uptrend, period. So that's the first thing you have to establish. It is an uptrend. But this is a nasty candle, okay? This candle, arguably a key reversal candle, because it encompassed that one, and that one, and that one, and then it closed. That's a pretty gross thing to see if you're a bull. And so what you want to keep in mind also is that since this continuation, the volume did not keep up. You've got declining volume. The RSI did not make a higher high, so you've got declining momentum. So I would proceed with caution on RFI personally. I mean, I certainly would not buy after a key reversal candle on declining volume, on declining momentum. It's a recipe for disaster to buy here. If I was long from here and I'm up whatever that is, let's see, maybe a few X it looks like. If I'm getting into those range lows, holy shit, I'm 29X. Even if I got in at the start of this breakout, I'm 6X. I would be paying myself here, at least taking my risk off the table, because then I can kind of get stress free. It's a free position. Maybe it does flag here for a bit and then it continues up. To me, more than likely, it comes down and tries to find some support. But again, based purely on charts. And this stuff happens more than you think, where, it's all good. And then it's just like, oh, wait, what's going on? Oh, wait, everyone that was in just for the quick gains is selling. Oh, no, they're all selling. And then you get into something like this reload zone and you get your next big move. So, yeah, lots of caution to warrant on this chart based on everything I just talked about. But yeah, so hope that makes sense. And that's my take on those charts, guys. And look, we are at the top of the hour. Any thoughts on an XRP? Yeah, so Spark snapshot is very close. It's a couple hours away. The short side of the trade based on open interest that I'm seeing is extremely crowded. I won't pull it up right now for the sake of time, but what I'm seeing is that the short trade is super crowded. If anything, I will quickly do this. We do have a hard stop here. We got to get a few things done. Yeah, no, we got to get down to the hourly. So look, open interest, this squeeze, let's take a look. It's going to be tough to call. Typically, if there's a huge run up into an airdrop, at or before or just after that, you see some selling. So, obviously caution rushing to buy XRP here, as that airdrop is something that people speculate has been propping it up. But, pretty clear levels on this one, on the diagonal front, as it kind of just chills here. So something big may be coming for XRP. The fact that snapshot is just hours away tells me it could be today. But, I mean, good luck trying to call the direction on this thing. It's come so far that you could say down is the next direction, but it's XRP, and it just sat here like this for so long that it broke out, and the continuation also seems very likely. So I might even just say, what am I waiting for? I don't know. Break out and go, break down and die, whatever you want. But yeah, taking a spread trade here would be really fancy, getting in a long and a short. One gets stopped out and the other goes crazy. Or is it Darth Maul? I don't know. So my take on the snapshot is I'm not going to try to trade it. It's not acting the way I expected. I expected it to run up right into the event, and in which case it'd be a really sweet short. But I looked at the open interest today, and there's just so much short open interest. And knowing XRP, I would expect it to just destroy that. Just
I was looking at the trade last night, actually. Funding for, I think, 3.2, which is fucking high.
Insanely high,
yeah. Sort of negative 3.2. So yeah, huge short interest on that.
Let's flip over to the screens here, guys. We're gonna go back to the studio, and well, we ended up as often as possible. Oh, look at the SKL bouncing. Yeah, okay. So the one trade that I had, and I hate to say it, I might have had it too tight. I got stopped out last night on my SKL trade. So my takeaway on that was that I do sometimes do this where there's like a really key invalidation level, but there's like a softer one a little above, and I tighten my stop up, and then I take more size. So I might have done that on SKL. If it rallies here through the week and you saw it on my Twitter and you're into that trade and you have your good invalidation, power to you. I might get back in if I see a little W here on the 15-minute or the hourly. But for now, I am not in the full position of SKL that I was. I do have a small spot bag because I just couldn't bring myself to cut the whole thing on overnight volatility. Now, Tamea, good luck with your XRP long. I wish you the best. That friggin' wedge looks ready to go. So let's hope it goes upside for you. And with that, guys, we are coming to the top of the show. So what I'm going to say, Q-Cho, I am so sorry I cannot cover comp right now. We do have to go. Nick's got a call, and I've got a few things. But I'm happy to put out a tweet on comp, or maybe, you know what? Join the trading pit. At Real Hero Labs on Twitter has the Telegram for a trading pit. So if you hop in there and tag me at Random Task, I'm happy to pump out a little comp chart for you, because I'll be around over the next few hours. Now, what's it? Monday, Karush AK coming on the stream. It's going to be great. He's created a lot of free educational resources. I'm really excited to pick his brain as an educator myself and just talk to him a little bit why he did that. It's not going to be too interview heavy. I think for sure a little conversation early on. But then I just want to get into the charts. The guy's a trader. Pretty sure he's a link marine in a sense too. So anyways, looking forward to having him on Monday. So if you guys are interested in that, be sure to catch us on Monday. And if you like the show today, hit us up with a like and a sub. Let us know that you appreciate what we're doing here. It's all free. It always will be. And we just love having you guys on the stream here. A lot of great engagement and chats today. So take care, everyone. Trade safely. And whatever you do, always play from a position of strength. Cheers.
Have a good weekend.